Hello, my friends. Meme, Aaron, Jeremiah, Linda. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Kevin. How are you? Ready for my work day to be done? Feel that. Feel that. I made a different kind of a video that I posted on TikTok today. It was unlike what I usually post, at least as of late. We'll see if anybody watches it. But I felt a need to make this kind of a video as opposed to my normal ones, because I'm sensing things. I'm sensing things. Partially because I'm feeling them myself too. So it's time to do more than just point out everything that's wrong. It's also important that we realize what's going on. What's up, J-Man? Hey, Catherine. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday. Good morning, Bien. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I've got a flare up of some sciatica in my back, so that hasn't been fun. Dog, why are you thinking about my reproductive organs? Kind of weird, don't you think? I just posted it, meme, so it wouldn't surprise me. AOC, yeah. I've gotten to a point where it doesn't flare up very often, but for some reason it decided to flare up today. Thank you for the gifts, guys. I really do appreciate it. Yes, very slow with notifications. Yep. And right now it's looking like it ain't gonna go far, so. You watching the Candace? You mean the Candace Owens debate? Nah. I got no desire. Why do I think Trump hates Americans? Because what he says and what he supports hurts Americans. The rhetoric that he's spouting has caused pain to Americans, both physical and mental. That's why. And Dog, no, I wasn't on Brokeback Mountain, but you know what? It's nice that you think I would be, because that would probably mean I was a great actor and made a lot of money. I did grow up with AOL. Never liked Hegseth. There's something so oh, there's something. That man wants a holy war, J-Man. I mean, he said it out loud, but I believe it fully. That man wants a holy war. Social media made my dream possible. I mean, I'm not doing it for the fame or the recognition. I was doing this way before I was making any money, not to mention the fact that I'm really not making that much money. Don't get me wrong, I would love to make enough to survive doing this, but right now, it doesn't happen. U.S. Navy's sole supercarrier near Iran endures severe food shortages as logistics disrupted. Yep. You see him doing the interview about the Lincoln and his half unbuttoned shirt? I did. You have a clue what this war is about? I know what this administration is spewing on that it's about. Just a random thought question that popped in my head. No, it's true. Social media has made it possible for a lot of people to live dreams they may not have before. Hey, Heather. It has nothing to do with the iCountry or nukes. I mean, I think it has to do with Trump's ego and Bibi's ego, if I'm being honest, but it's about losing the dollar as the trade currency. Okay. I guess we'll find out, won't we? What an innocent, beautiful, perfect angel from heaven. Who? Who? Me? No. 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 Not even a little bit. So if this was being reported in April, why are they still out there? Exactly, Aaron. Exactly. Yes. Yes. 1,000,000% yes. A 1,000,000,000% yes. Oh, we handed so much power to Iran on a silver platter with what we did. Hey, lawyer Shark. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the heart me's. Thank you for the tapping. Thank you for everything you guys do to support this live. Hey, Jamie. To me, it's about the cycle of us intervening all over the world, causing problems decades later. I mean, it's true. I have yet to see any situation where we have straight up stuck our nose into it that has ended well, especially for the people in those countries. I've yet to see it. Yet to see a situation where we have stuck our nose into other countries' business and had it work out well. Because doing what we're doing doesn't make lasting successful change anywhere. We mishandled so many things. We mishandled so many things. Decades from now, we're going to hear about a new tea group that started. Possible. Sure. We have mishandled the Middle East, past, present, future. We've mishandled everywhere, past, present, and future. That's why I always hate when people act like we are somehow exceptional, as though we lack the ability to do stupid and ignorant and horrid things because we were born here. It's ridiculous. Oh, we are bad at cleaning things up because we have convinced ourselves that it's weakness to admit we were wrong or we made a mistake. That's what we've convinced ourselves, that somehow it'll put us in a weak position to admit that. Not realizing that what we have actually done by not doing that is show how weak we are. Proud of the USA. I'm not proud of, I would never be proud of a country. Too many different kinds of people in any country to be proud of a country. Do I think the United States stands for what I believe it should stand for? No, not right now. Didn't Hegseth get red flagged while he was in the service? Yup. Yes, he did. Hey, Aaron. I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Trump's sons have a financial stake in prolonging this war. True. There would not be wars everywhere in the world if there was no America. Oh my gosh. Then move? That's a dumb statement. It also goes against all of history. Why didn't the people that started this country move instead of revolting? Why did the founding fathers revolt instead of just move? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you for all the cows napping. I don't know if Russia's profiting off this war. That I'm not sure that's true. But what's up,
Well,
Scott?
I mean, I guess with an increase in the price of oil, Russia could profit if Ukraine wasn't knocking out all their shadow fleet and destroying their refineries. So Russia's a mess. I mean, and as for this whole shining city, you know, I heard that when I came on, Mike. You know, the whole shining city on a hill, that was always a conceit. And nowadays, it's a farce.
Yeah.
To say that. It's a farce. We're a country like every other country. And I think Vintage had a very good point that I agree with. Are there lots of things that make me proud to be an American? Sure. There's also lots of things that make me not proud to be an American. It's more nuanced than simply saying you have to be proud to be an American. No, you don't. Pride is something that's earned. It's not something that should be a given.
I don't. The important thing is what aspects of America are there right now to be proud of? No, America, you'd be speaking Chinese, Russian, or Arabic. That is actually wild. That is actually a wild statement to make, Rob, with like, there's no backing to any of that statement. None. But again,
Well, Vintage in chat says that blind patriotism is dangerous. Couldn't agree more.
mm-hmm.
That sums it up. And that's not just true for America, it's true for any nation.
Again, it's what causes you to be proud, and that's part of the problem, right? Because what makes people proud is different. Like, what would make me proud to be an American is to be part of a country that fights for marginalized communities, that fights for the poor, that lifts up everybody, no matter the color of your skin or where you grew up or what job you do. A country that shows humanity is one that I'd be proud of. You ask why I'm not proud to be an American? Because I get people coming in here calling me some of the, you guys don't even see the DMs that I get. I get Americans come in here and say some of the vilest things to me because I think we should be treating our service members better who have been stuck on a boat for over 250 days. No, America does not show the most humanity. Does it show the least humanity? I wouldn't say that either. But we definitely do not show the most humanity. Like, not even close. I'd be being generous by saying we're probably somewhere around the middle.
That's where I would say. Maybe a little bit above middle because there's a lot of whack job countries out there. But yeah, I can name most European countries, especially the Nordic countries, show more humanity than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Mexico, which has its own problem with cartels, is enacting universal health care. That's something to be proud of. Yeah, so, and I think the Canadians have a lot to be proud of.
And again, does that mean those countries are perfect? Of course they're not. Of course they're not. Every country can do better. But we are living in a country right now where files exist that show that people took part in one of the worst organizations that trafficked children, and no one in this country has been held accountable.
Good point.
We're talking,
and
this is lack of R&D. Like, if you care about, if you start pointing out ex-presidents, shut up. Doesn't matter. I'm talking this. You said, are you proud to be an American? Are you proud of the USA? The USA involves all of us. And right now we are living in a country where we are protecting people that are known to have taken part in one of the worst child trafficking organizations that the world has ever experienced, especially the United States. And I'm not even just talking about the knowledge that the president is probably one of them. You're proud of that, Lino? Ooh, see, that's scary. That's frightening. You shouldn't be proud of that. There's nothing to be proud about that. Hey, Sarita. Uh, what's to be proud about the fact that it has been that the what is it? I forget which part of the government has decided to no longer actually look into and prosecute money laundering in this country. They've literally basically shut down the part of the government that actually looks into and prosecutes money laundering in this country. What's to be proud about that?
And we have a president selling access to market manipulation on his Truth Social for $100,000 a month.
It's not
That's bizarre.
Grey Wolf. It's a friggin' announcement. There's literally no gray here. This isn't this is an opinion. You can literally look up that they shut down. They have announced that they are no longer enforcing a law that was put into place. No, I don't mean USAID. Idiot. Is it safe to eat lettuce yet? Not if it's from Taylor Farms. Hey, Silver. Hey, Dee Dee. Doge was a scam. And again, it doesn't mean that there aren't things that America as a whole, that Americans as a whole, or even a majority are doing that I am proud of. Of course, there are good things that are happening in this country. That doesn't mean I'm proud to be an American. Because as an American, as a whole, we are being really shitty here to people in this country and around the world. Yeah, I wish I was getting paid by the DNC. I love when people say that. Wouldn't have to do so much extra work outside of doing this if I was getting paid by the DNC. Where did Levitt go? From the reporting I have heard, she was very upset at the president basically like leaving and letting her and everyone else basically be in danger. And that's why she left.
You didn't get your Soros check this month?
If you lived in World War II times, you would feel different. You haven't lived in World War II times. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Anyone who says they know what it was like to live in World War II times right now is lying to you. None of you know. About America? America only lived and did what it did in World War II because we got attacked. We were shit before we got attacked. We were POSs on the world stage until we got attacked. Hey, Di. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, yeah. We ignored what was going on in the rest of the world for years. Literally, if Japan didn't do what it did, we probably still who knows? I don't even know if we would have gone in. And again, I want to be proud of what we as Americans are doing. I want to. But I don't see us doing things. Again, are there pockets here and there of people that are doing great stuff? Of course there are. But we as a country, again, we live in a country right now that has done nothing with the names in the files of the worst child trafficking ring in history. Like, regardless of who you think is on it or not, the fact that nothing has been done to anyone by this country is it's what's to be proud of. We have a trillionaire who tries to buy elections. Why would we be proud of that? We have more monopolies than ever. We've made it the SEC has made it possible for more monopolies of our media's companies now. Why is that? What's to be proud about that?
Hey, CA, you say that the Democrats elected a Yahtzee and a communist. So proud. I'm very curious. Could you tell me who those presidents were? I'm very curious to hear your answer there.
I guarantee they're just talking about Mamdani. Guarantee it. Like 1,000,000%. That is all they care about.
Well, who are you talking about, CA? Let's end the mystery here.
Is it President Garfield? He was kind of a jerk.
DSA party.
He was obviously a commie. Yeah.
The DSA are not communists or pure socialists, although some probably would consider themselves socialists, but the party itself is not. Again, democratic socialists are different than socialists. And your unwillingness to see that is not my point. Actions speak louder than words. I've stolen billion. Oh my gosh. This president alone has probably stolen more billions from the American people than any other person in government combined.
2.2 billion in 2025 alone, 1.6 billion of which was with his crypto scheme.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
1.6 billion from his crypto scheme alone. That's leaving out the selling of pardons, including to the world's largest narco trafficker, the former president of Honduras. He got a pardon. What do you think about that one, MAGAs? What do you think about that?
And
pardoning a drug kingpin.
And it's not a deflection. You're the only one that's trying to say that one side is the only one that does it without acknowledging that that people are doing it. I'm not saying that Democrats aren't fraudulent, aren't horrible people in some cases, but don't pretend. Don't pretend.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Democrats here are, well, they're not in charge, right? So they don't really have much power, as they've shown over and over again by not doing anything. But I think going after the Democrats just means you're kind of lazy. I mean, if you really want an answer to what's going on, why don't you look at who's been in control here? Not only that, but look and see who was attacking a Democratic president. Like, we couldn't even get our messages across over the Sleepy Joe bullshit and then back into the administration there. So we've had like 3 administrations here where the Republicans have been running the show. So I think it's like, what's the matter with people? Do some research.
Correct, Mr. Thumb. Very good comment. MAGAs cannot define communism or socialism. They have no idea what it is. Nope. They've just been told to repeat it like Pavlov's dog.
Oh my gosh. I swear, do you guys have a list of people that anytime anyone points out something else, you just say George Soros or Mamdani or whatever?
Mike, the president does say how much he loves the uneducated And we're seeing proof of that every day.
Well, he also had a list of words he didn't want to ever hear. Let me see if I can pull those up again.
Graham Plattner. Well, yeah. And you know what happened? Graham Plattner got pushed out of his race.
By the Democrats, by his own party, got pushed out because we held him to account. Same with Swalwell out in California. We held him to account. Have you held Donald Trump to account?
You hate America. Evil will always call evil. Like, you're not even making sense now, dude.
What's that mean, CA? CA, I'm still waiting for you to point out who the Yahtzee and the communist were.
If Plattner was a Republican, he would be their next presidential nominee. So fucking true. I apologize for the language, but so fucking true. Why do you think someone who, again, regardless of my service, why do you think someone who hasn't served doesn't have the right or the ability to point out something that's wrong that's happening in our military that shouldn't be happening?
Okay, I got the list.
Okay.
I'm printing the list. Let me go grab it real quick.
Okay. I got a better idea. Just
go ahead and block me. You two is a communist. Hey, CA, what's a communist? You already can't tell me who the Yahtzee and the communists are in government. Why don't you just try and define communists for me?
Welcome to the dude. Someone is spiraling fast. Dang. Like he's just going in. He's just going in and using everything now. Every word that he doesn't like. He's like, what can I throw out? What can I throw out?
Hey, CA, you're a little bit behind the times. You got to throw out woke and trans too. Got to work that into your arguments.
You haven't stated anything that could be confirmed or denied as a fact. You're just spewing statements. You're just using words that you saw on Fox News or you heard come from the president's mouth. You literally aren't saying anything. Actually, communism is not where wealth and resources are equally distributed. Communism is where society as a whole owns nothing and everyone works together for the betterment of society. There is no ownership. None. Zero. Nada.
Hey, CA, the money stolen by the Somalians, which, by the way, they got caught, so it proves that the government works. What about the $2.2 billion with Trump? What about those? What about those? What about the $1.6 billion in 2025 alone on his crypto scheme, which is worth 3% of your investment as of today? He got his money. Everybody who invested in it lost money.
Everything owned by everyone does not equal equally distributed.
True. All right, one of my favorite ones that is on this list. So there's a list that he sent out saying you cannot say these words in any of your documentation or to my face. It's just they no longer exist in the federal system.
Okay.
Let me just give you a couple here. Pregnant people, political, stereotypes, racism, segregation, gender, Gulf of Mexico, hate speech, implicit bias, immigrants, Hispanic minority, increased diversity, that's not allowed, inequities. There you have it. Those are fun words. I mean, there's plenty more, but my goodness gracious.
Yeah. It's It's wild. You know, I have been, and this is the thing I've been noticing. Like, again, Scott and I have talked about this offline. Even as crazier and crazier shit comes out, as this administration and the people that support him start spiraling more and more, they're gonna get louder and louder. They're gonna deflect off the wazoo. It's why you're hearing things
Yep.
come up from 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the crazies will come out of the woodwork as it gets closer to the midterms, and 2028 is going to be a trip.
Do you think we'll ever run out of crazies? That's my
No.
question.
No. Oh no. Well, and as you well know, Di, you know your history. America's had crazies from day one. It's just that they've usually had a lid kept on them. Well, the lid came off.
We need another lid.
Tarek,
We need a bigger lid. Yeah, just like the movie Jaws, you need a bigger boat.
True.
Tarek, if you look at all of the data that has come out from the files already, Trump. That doesn't mean he wasn't friends with Clinton. I could care less about Clinton. If there's information in there that shows that he took part in the actual services or knew about it and did nothing, put him in jail. That's the point. It's the part you guys don't seem to get.
I think it's very interesting and unique. And Scott, I know you probably find it this way as well, that we had to have a federal statute put into law, signed by the president, in order for people to do their jobs. Like, this is crazy. You're not seeing other people like, Bill Cosby, Transparency Act. No, there's this one person because they needed penalties because the people weren't doing what they're supposed to do.
Precisely. It really is through the looking glass that we even needed that law. However, that law should be put right in front of our new Attorney General, because the law does not say, here's what the law does not say, that the remainder of the documents are released if the Attorney General really feels like it or not. No, they're supposed to be released. And by the way, that law was signed by Donald Trump.
CA, I hope you know that you're not actually writing in actual sentences, right? Your sentences are not logical.
Well, he proves Trump's point about how much he loves the uneducated. CA is Exhibit 1.
And again, I don't care. Like, the people that are like, you don't care about Bill because Hillary is influential. I don't care about Hillary. I don't care about anyone. If you were involved in a child trafficking ring, you should go to jail. Why can you not accept that? The fact that you cannot, as human beings, get on the same page with us because of a fucking letter next to our name is wild.
I think one of the absolute biggest problems here is the way people approach things. Like, we'll take a look and we'll say, oh, okay, this one, the law got broken. We're a land of laws, not of men. And then the other side is like, well, if it had been, we're going to do all that we can do. Like, we're not you, right? You, the peoples out there that want to come in and do all of the harm stuff. You're like, oh, it's so harmful. We're not like you. That part of your brain that goes forward without any empathy. And yes, I mean the word empathy, peoples. And you're like, well, that's what we would do. That's how we would take care of it. And it's like, well, that's why we don't want to vote for you, because, that's like the bad stuff.
And here's the problem. And the part that I keep, it sort of goes into the video that I posted today, which, by the way, if you are on TikTok, please go watch the video. If you're on Insta or the Tube, it'll also come up there later. I just didn't have time to throw it up there. I talked a lot about the struggles that we as a movement are dealing with right now, and the fact that if you look at every movement during every point in the history of this country, they weren't even all on the same page. The abolitionist movement, there was massive fractures in the abolitionist movement on how, like, what the focus should be, who should be even allowed in it. There was arguments during the abolitionist movement on whether women should be allowed to be a part of the movement. This is what we deal with. This is part of a movement. This is part of what it takes to fix stuff. In the end, this is why I keep saying we need to be willing to come together on fundamentals. It's not about so much of this minutia that we like to focus on so much. For me, every decision, every statement I make, everything that I support, every person that I will fight for, or every statement that I will push against is based on my idea that all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, or identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. JM, the fact that
JM says
the fact that you are willing to say that out loud means you have absolutely no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
And you weren't listening one bit. No, it's not the truth. Democrats aren't a person. There's no thing above someone's head that says, oh, that person's a Democrat. Democratic Party, just like the Republican Party, is a corporation. It means nothing. Democrats don't all believe the same thing. Independents don't all believe the same thing. It's not a cult. And you're crashing? Okay.
Democrats are a cult and you're crashing. Well, not so far in the elections since 2024. Not at all. As a matter of fact, JM, it may come as a shock to you. In fact, I'm certain it comes as a shock to you. But the Democrats have averaged 16 points better in over 100 elections since the election of 2024 than they did in 2024. The Republicans are 16 points worse. So I don't think they're crashing, as you're going to find out in less than 3 months.
JM, I support people that fight for the idea that all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. I don't care what party they associate with. The fact that all the people that fight for that are on the Democratic Party? No. Just because Democrats don't approve of the National Party means nothing. Again, we aren't a monolith. That's the part you don't get. We're not a monolith.
Okay, here's something. Let me run this by you. Tell me if it's absolutely bonkers. All right. I think one of the biggest issues we have in those that are like, all right, let's Democrats versus Republicans or independents. And I keep thinking about this too. If anyone has noticed, and I'm gonna put this on my camera here, but just for a minute here. If anyone remembers the Civil War,
Let me
right?
make you big. Give me a second.
Well, Scott, you were in the Civil War, right? Do you remember?
What are you saying? I was around during the Civil War. It was three.
I'm just saying.
I am 69 years old, but I'm not 169 years old.
Uh-huh. Well, all right. So what has gone through my mind over and over and over again when it comes to looking at the founding documents, and then we had basically a second set of founding documents during the Civil War. And over here, this is a circuit map, but What I wanted to say was, hey, in the beginning, right, we're over here, and then over here, and the requirements to become a state was that you had to be a slave state or a free state because they wanted to have equal numbers. And so what happened, the big controversy around here, thanks for nothing, Kansas, there was a big issue because they didn't want the one that they were designated to be. So our entire country, as it moves this way, has been all about, are you okay with slavery or not? And so for me, I feel that we're still in kind of that place, not necessarily with slavery, but with this idea of, we want everything to be equal. So one state's free, one state's not free, until the states that are free are like, this is some bullshittery and we can't deal with it anymore. Boom, civil war.
Never quite heard it explained like that, Di.
I've got mad skills.
Yes, you do.
We got people in the chat going, we want Post-it notes.
Man, I had a nightmare last night about Post-it notes.
And by the way, you were referring to the Kansas-Nebraska Act?
Yes, that it was.
That's what I thought you were referring to.
Yep.
As we take a trip back to the 1850s, folks, it was a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of feels like we're maybe in that zone or coming up on that zone again.
And then bleeding Kansas. Yep.
JM, you are right. Midterms are going to be a slaughter. Just not the way you think it is.
They're going to be a slaughter, JM. You got that? That's the first right thing you've said.
Think it is.
I hope everyone.
Oh, see, again, JM, you saying you're not Republican after saying all the bullshit you did about me, trying to call me a Democrat because of who I support, you lost. I mean, you didn't have much. There wasn't much credibility there, but you lost it all with that statement.
Oh, James has no credibility, but he is amusing.
I'm a Marine American. Marine American
fascinating.
Isn't a
Really?
person.
What?
How very interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a land American.
Yeah.
Well, go be a Marine American somewhere else.
See you later, Jethro.
He's an underwater American. Yes.
He's one of those Americans, Vonda, with gills.
You think I'm going to bring you up, dude? Are you serious?
You just got booted out. Bye. See you later, Jethro.
I didn't block your ass.
The entitlement is running wild.
How many human errors going to happen in the midterms? I don't know. Do you only believe things when you win?
I'm going to tell you right now, the midterms, the laws coming into place from states and federals to make sure that things go properly are just off a chart. They're just running. A lot of people don't realize that. We actually have laws specific to what this crap has done in the past. And so, woohoo, new laws.
Yellowstone, whatever you wrote got filtered, so I cannot see what you wrote. I've seen it on Lundler Live. He only crashes. That's a lot of what we get. The people that come in here, tend to be ones that make the rounds to a lot of people's content.
Actually, Mike, I have to give you some credit. You stuck with him a lot longer than I thought you would.
Well,
I thought that guy was on the train to St. Elsewhere about 12 comments before you finally booted him.
So
was it a steam train? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering.
You're a train spotter.
Here's the thing, and this is what I want everyone that's in here, especially people that are here consistently. I want to talk about anything. In general, I talk about things that come up in the chat. When we get people like that, I don't want to block them. Definitely don't want to ban them. I want to let them help my algorithm however much they want to. And so if there are things that we want to talk about, let's ignore them and keep talking about other things and let them just speak into the void. Stop
Mike,
speaking over each other. No.
Vonda's being ageist again.
Uh-oh.
She's calling me old again.
Don't pick on the old man, all right?
Grace, you haven't been blocked ever. That's why you're talking still. I want to make sure that's true. I want to make sure that's understood. My mods do the mod things, and you know, if they felt that something was necessary, that's why I made the mods, is I trust them.
Your mods are amazing, actually. Oh, I got a question. Do I know any lawyers that advocate for the environment? Yes, I do. I do not give recommendations for attorneys out. I had a very bad experience, but I will say in my red state here, which, you know, whatever, there might be maybe 3 or 4 of them. So I'd say Google your state and environmental attorneys, and then you'll be sad.
What's my opinion on the new Trump or Jeffrey court case? I don't know which, and I'm not going to pull up a YouTube video, Yellowstone, to find out what you're talking about. So unless anyone knows what that may be, what's going on, I can't answer that at this moment.
Super DNC says 100% turnout for the midterms.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, from your mouth to God's ears, but the answer is no. American midterms have a turnout of between 45 and 50%. I know that's depressing. It is depressing, but that's where we're at.
I think we'll break that, Scott. I really do. I don't think we're going to
The Democrats are going to have a very high turnout. I don't think we're going to break it by much, Di, because all indications are a very low Republican turnout in this midterm.
That's all right. That's okay.
Oh, that's okay, but that's why I don't think we're going to hit 60 or anything like that. We might get up to 51, 52, but that'll be
Penny, if we hit 70%, I'm gonna go run through the streets cheering. Like, if we hit 70% in this country on a midterm election,
yeah.
Like,
Kenny, let me put that
society has changed.
Let me put that in perspective for you, Kenny. We've never hit 70% in a presidential election. We've never hit 70 there. The highest was 2020, I believe, at 64%, somewhere around there.
Keep dreaming, Kenny. I have been for 4 years now on this app. I have been screaming at the hilltops to increase turnout in primaries and general elections, and I will keep doing it every year until I can no longer do it, because that's how it's important. That's what's necessary. See, Felicidads, that is a dumb statement. Like, red isn't a person. The fact that you identify with a color or a party, the fact that your identity is all that, means that you don't actually care about what people stand for. It means you would vote for someone no matter what they stand for. And as long as politicians know without a doubt, and again, I'm not going to sit here and say when you're in the general election and your vote is between someone who is a Republican and is supporting what this administration is trying to do, and pretty much anybody else that's fighting against it, to not vote for the person who's fighting against it, even if it's not fighting as much as we want. Vote for that person. That's why it's so freaking important that we get out in the primaries. That's how the change gets made. The one thing that the Democratic Party, although the Republican Party to some extent has been doing it too, the one thing that has been shown, it got shown in Connecticut, it got shown in many different states, is that you are not safe as an incumbent anymore. You're still somewhat safe, but you are nowhere near as safe as you were. You are nowhere near as safe as you were. And that's going to get people to change, because what they know now is people not only care what they say, but what they do after they say it.
Yeah, David in chat says we should have a voting week instead of a voting day. Again, once again, from your mouth to God's ears, David, I think everybody here agrees with you. There are lots of changes we could make to make voting easier and more accessible and more prevalent, but we don't do them.
I would have to say the mail-in ballots, that's the key. The mail-in ballots. So those pieces where they're trying to pull that back in and say you have to go show up, that's where we're going to have issues there, in my humble opinion.
Rum, you don't know what socialism is. The fact that you are calling it that means you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, it does. The fact that you are making that statement literally ignores the entire reality of everybody on the progressive side of the aisle. Again, you don't have to love socialism. That's fine. You can be a capitalist at heart and think that's the best way to do it. I don't care, but know what you're talking about. Having a discussion about what would be better for society as a whole, capitalism, socialism, something in between, I'm all for that. That's necessary. That's called a functioning society. But don't make statements, especially generalized statements, that have no basis in reality, especially when you don't have a freaking clue what you're talking about. I mean, yes, democratic socialism is not the same as socialism, but socialism in the way it is used, in the way it is described, isn't even right.
Yeah, strange things are happening in Mississippi, Kenny. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on that one. You might be right.
Well, socialism, capitalism, and communism have pure definitions. They absolutely do. The reality is no country ever, anywhere, even when they have attempted to enact pure version or said that, like, no place has ever attempted to enact pure socialism, pure communism, or even pure capitalism, if we're being honest.
True.
They always end up using bits and pieces of other forms of economic systems, because pure any of them don't work, especially unregulated. But no one, and I want to be clear, 1930s Germany was not socialist, not even a bit. It started out as capitalist, who used the word socialism and went literally hard into authoritarianism and fascism. But if you look at what they did to get into power, they were as capitalist as can be, man.
Rob keeps spamming, will the Democrats separate themselves from socialism? Leaving aside the definitions of socialism, let's leave that aside for the moment. Political parties have different factions, Rob. Let me ask you, what about the schism in the Republican Party between the tech bros and working class white voters? Huge schism in the Republican Party. Are they going to fix that? No. Parties have big tents. They have people of different views within them.
And this comes to a problem that happened after the Michigan primary that I saw. We had someone come in here who was a Abdul al-Said supporter, and when the election was done, the more centrist Democrats started supporting and standing with Abdul al-Said, which they should do. And this person ended up saying that they were nervous about whether they could trust Abdul al-Said now because centrists are supporting him. And in my head, I'm just sitting here like, what do you expect them to do? Do you want the centrists to start supporting the Republican candidate? Like this is the world that we're living in right now.
They expect moderates to support Rogers. Yeah, and that somehow, if they're supporting the man who won their own party's primary, that is somehow suspect. No, that's what happens after a primary is over.
Dems don't hate capitalism because if the poor got rich, they'd lose a vote. That's not. What's that
even mean?
It's that idea of as you get older and you get money, you become more conservative. So the idea is that if poor people became rich, they would become conservatives and Republicans because they would want to hold on to their money and they wouldn't be willing to pay taxes anymore.
And by the way, there is some but not much proof that you become more conservative as you get older. In fact, generally, you will keep throughout your lifetime the party affiliation that you have at the age of 25. The vast majority of voters keep their same party affiliation. So
probably because it's a pain in the ass to change the paperwork.
Well, not necessarily. They literally do keep the same views. There's very few people like Mike and myself who've split our votes between Republicans and Democrats throughout our lifetime. Very few like us.
But and again, I can't speak for everyone. For me, it's because I have never been willing. I have never cared about what letter is next to your name. Now, my worldview has changed over time. That has allowed me to much more focus on at least support people that run under the progressive ticket. But I was so against supporting anybody based on what party they were under and more about what I at least thought they stood for.
I've always voted person, not party.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd look at it.
So I voted pretty much 50-50. Although in the last 10 years, I voted pretty much straight Democratic. But before that, 50-50.
And, Firma, your statement that commies own the Democratic Party not only is false, for multiple reasons. One, because you don't know what communism is. Two, because if you think that's true, you literally have no idea what's going on in the party right now. And three, that's just a dumbass statement. And if you actually are a media firm in any way, or are you just putting they're a fight. No, there's not a fight. There's a disagreement. And that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. You think we have to agree on everything? Do you think that's what it means to be a part of a party? Do you think full support and agreement is how a party division sells? Well, in the media, sure.
One thing being on the left or the right, just basic in general, is I'm not sure that people understand, there's this compassionate ideology. They think everyone's all like, let's hug trees and stuff. But I tell you what, some of the most hateful and rude and abusive when it comes to political ideology, it doesn't matter which side you're on. It's still present in all of those situations.
Bill Maher isn't on board. Oh, well, if Bill Maher isn't on board, whew,
that guy's gross.
Bill Maher is one of the largest pieces of shit in media I have ever witnessed. That man will do and say anything to create controversy in order to get more people to listen to him.
Well, I don't listen to him anymore, but hasn't he really jumped the shark anyway?
It seems like it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not nearly as influential as he was 20 years ago.
I think he started off with a really interesting idea, but then just took a turn that was like, meh.
Firma, I'm going to say this one more time. you stop using that derogatory term in my chat, or you will not be allowed to speak here anymore.
Can I just ask, like, what's wrong in with being a communist? I mean, I'm not talking about people in office. I'm talking about just people. Like, what's wrong with that? Why can't we have different ideologies?
Because in their world, the, you know, Russia, 1930s Germany, China, all of them are, that's what it means to be one. Yeah.
With Stalinism. Okay, I got you.
Well, the ultimate irony is that they have more of an affection for Russia than we do.
What is derogatory about using a term that was created during the Red Scare to fearmonger people? What's derogatory about a term about calling people something that they're not, in the hopes that they will that the rhetoric will affect them? No, none of it's better, because you're lying about all of it. You're just using propaganda. I hope you aren't really a media company, because if you are, that's disgusting. No, calling people that are winning their primaries right now Marxist is a lie. Marxism isn't a lie. Marxism is just a economic style of society. There's no lie about it. Whether it's possible for it to happen, that's a different question. I'm too young to know.
Oh my gosh. I tell you what, I started reading that Constitution of my son in utero, so it doesn't matter.
No, they are not Marxist then. That is correct. None, literally none of the people that have won their primaries are Marxist.
Oh, good God. I can't believe we're even discussing this. Jesus Christ.
I think this is the only time my political science degree has ever been of any use.
Yeah, and I was a history, political science double major myself, Di. So
There you go, Scott. Good
I
for
hear
you. With a double. My minor was in rhetoric, which is, talking.
Anything anti-constitution. Again, and we need to be very clear, capitalism, socialism, and communism are economic models. They have absolutely nothing to do with a constitution or a republic or a democracy. None, zero, nada, niet. How many other languages can I say it in? Controlled by the government. Again, none of those models actually require government control by their nature. They require regulation, which the government puts together, but the actual economic models do not require government control. The actual pure versions of those economic models. All socialism means is everyone that works at a company benefits equally from the work that they do. You share in the work, you share in the benefit. Communism just means nobody owns the business at all. and everyone just works for the benefit of society. There's no ownership. People help make food, people build houses, people run things like the internet, and you just share it all. Who enforces that? Who enforces the regulation? A government, of course. Society. Whoever society chooses to enforce it. Which is partially why things like communism would never actually work. Because you need a mentality from people that requires very little greed or you know, to be able to think about other people more than themselves. And that's just
I
very unlikely.
I truly, truly believe when we're going down that road, when we're talking about, let me just toss out communism real quick. I would say communism is the exact opposite of our country. In communism, you can work as hard as you want, but you will not go up the ranks. You're just set in your spot for your entire
Correct.
life.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
it's not about moving up, it's about bettering society. That's what, again, we're talking about the purest form of
yes,
it.
exactly.
It's not, it's
Which
the person at the top, the president, doesn't live any better or worse than the person that's picking food in the fields. Again, in pure communism, that is what it's supposed to be like. Do I understand that that cannot exist, especially in a global economy that we're living in right now, without a global enforcement or global regulation or a global agreement? Absolutely, it's not possible. But that's why I hate you guys using the words. You're using words in ways that aren't real. Why is it so bad, the idea that if 20 people work in a company and those 20 people all work their butts off for that company to succeed, that everyone should be able to afford to survive? Why is that such a horrible idea? Because that's what socialism is. It doesn't mean someone doesn't own the company. It doesn't mean you can't move up in the world. It doesn't mean you can't work harder and make extra money. Pure capitalism doesn't work either. What we're dealing with is as close to pure capitalism as this country may have ever witnessed.
Firma says the left tries to own the narrative, but making terms up. I would argue, Firma, that it's your side who's making the terms up by constantly saying that Democrats are now communists and or socialists, which of course most of them have no idea how to define either one of those terms. And the only reason they're using the terms communism and socialism now is because their old standbys, woke and trans, aren't working anymore.
And you're angry, Firma. Like, you understand that your entire argument here is, I hate how language works. Literally, from the beginning of language, a person looked at a dog and put a word to it and then gave a definition to it. That's how society works. You're angry at the left for saying, let's give a word that describes something that we're seeing. In the end, you're not actually angry at the word. You're actually angry at the fact that we're defining something that you don't agree with in the first place. The people that get mad at me that I use the word cis and trans aren't mad at the word cis and trans. They don't agree with people being transgender. That's all you're angry with. You're not angry at the word trans. Trans is just a word to describe people who are transgender.
Right-wing woke, unless you mistype that, I have to say that's a very disgusting comment.
It's extremely disgusting.
I'm hoping that you mistyped that.
I missed it. I was looking up the word dog, and you know what, Mike? 4000 BC, that word came out, and people started using it.
Ryan,
well,
why do you even talk? Like, why come in here? What is your point? What do you hope to get about coming in and saying any of what you just said? Is your goal to just show that you're a horrible human being? Now we're just typing
and
LMAO again. All right, goodbye.
but Firma has another interesting comment. I think the Dems are the angry ones. Firma, let me ask you another question since you didn't answer any of my previous questions. You can duck this question as well. Have you been watching Fox News for the last 25 years? Are you really that unaware?
And
Is it possible for a human being to be as unaware as you are? And you run a media company? You got to be kidding me.
and even more than that, why? If you have empathy, if you have humanity, and you see that things that are going on, decisions that are being made, rhetoric that is being supported is hurting people, is endangering the lives of people. People are literally losing their life because of the choices of this administration and the people that support that kind of rhetoric. Why would you expect us not to be angry? Oh my gosh.
Kenny G, let me have this one. Kenny G is helpful as always. You Democrats can't even talk. Your party just got hijacked by, you guessed it, folks, the socialists. Hey, Kenny, what's the matter? Trans and woke aren't working anymore? So you got to come up with socialist communists? That's your new little catchphrase?
You know what? I'm not letting anyone keep talking that is basically using the exact word that we can't use just so it gets through filters.
Good call. I was asking if Kenny G was the Kenny G from the late 80s with the big long hair that liked to play with his saxophone. Is that you, Kenny G?
Oh my gosh. Like, are you guys seriously? I'm gonna have to go watch my video that I made today back, because that is what this live is going to do to me. You guys understand how absolutely incongruent 90% of what you're saying is. DSA cannot hide Sharia law. They have nothing to do with each other.
Well, Mike, the comment right under it from Mr. Guy is also inane. The host will support trans over his own family. Fuck him.
Well,
what do you mean? Where do you even come up with that? Seriously, where do you come up with that? What type of reasoning, and I use that term loosely, do you have to come up with a statement like that?
Block him. I don't follow any cockroaches, so.
I just blocked it. He was following me, I realized, and I'm not having that.
You know, when we're talking about governments, real quick, just to clarify, my question is, doesn't China have a blended government where we've got some capitalism and then we've got some other parts?
Kenny.
Yeah, China is communist in name only because, as you know, the 1949 revolution, they have to justify one-party rule, so they call it communism, but they have a ton of capitalism in their economy, and also some state-sponsored industries as well. So you're right; it's a hybrid economy.
And I think, again, that's to show that in its purest form, these kinds of governments are not going to work. You got to kind of mix it together.
Yeah,
Polly,
that's what most successful governments do.
Polly, you don't know what Sharia law is. I'm just going to say that straight out. I can guarantee you have no clue. And number two, Nowhere has Abdul El Sayed said that he's all about Sharia law in the United States of America. Nowhere has he said that our country should be run by Sharia law, ever.
Or Mamdani, for that matter. Also, he's never said that either. Not one word of it. Those words only come out of the Fox News verse and Newsmax
and Christian nationalists.
They don't come out of the people that you accuse them of coming out of.
I was here when Scott snapped and said, Scott says way more bad words than I do.
Scott.
Oh, I curse like a fucking sailor. Are you kidding me?
I had to go through a phase where I was just spelling the swear words.
Believe me, Di, I tone it down for Mike because I know he doesn't like it. You should listen to me on Luis's live when I let go and get flagged.
I'm scared now.
I don't mind it. I personally am of the idea of it has worked well enough, at least in my life, where I'm willing to use it, but I use it infrequently enough that people know when I'm dead serious about something, when I use it, because of how little I use it. Aw, Mark, you would know all about sucking.
So, oh my goodness gracious. So basically it's like the warning, right? It's the warning.
Yes. My daughter did say that to me. Like she knows that my personality, I am very even keeled. And it was she has said to me before, she's like, I know that I effed up somewhere when dad gets angry, because that is not my personality. I'm very much a mediator personality in general. So when you see me getting pissed off, that actually, it's like using the middle name. Yes, exactly. John is so helpful.
John has a helpful comment there. Socialist. Now, John, do you want to elaborate? Socialist what? Socialist what, John? You just blurted out the word socialist. That's your entire comment? That's your entire thought?
Yep.
Is socialist.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's all they got. That's all they got. They don't even know what it means.
And on that note, my friends, it's 10:30. I have got to go.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing a live here in just a little bit.
Woohoo! If you're not following Attorney Di, follow her.
Take care, Di. It is always such a pleasure to be with you.
Same, Scott. Have a great day. You too, Mike. Catch y'all later.
Bye.
You too, dear. Good line, David.
Oh, I'm sure most of my community has followed Di already for a while. I get it. That's good. Yeah. Squirrel! Basically, the word socialist or communist for MAGA people especially are the equivalent of the squirrel. Squirrel! Like, socialist!
You know, it reminds me as, again, the only reason for the words socialist and communist is because trans and woke aren't working anymore. And it reminds me of something else that Fox News used to run out every election. Remember the caravans? The caravans that never got here? The caravans. The day after the election, that was the end of talking about caravans till 2 years later when they would talk about caravans again.
I love it when people come in here whining about being muted. That is the funniest thing to me. Like, wait, I'm going to be honest, Odin, I didn't remember you. You probably got muted and I forgot about you instantly. Thank you. Thank you for bringing yourself to the open, so the first batshit crazy thing you say is probably going to get you muted again. You opened the door, dude.
And cows and sheep, I apologize. I forgot a golden oldie. The War on Christmas. That was a golden oldie. They ran with that puppy for about 12, 15 years, didn't they?
And Christopher, I do not hate America. That's why I want to fight for America. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. If I didn't love America, I would just leave. Like, I love when people say, like, you hate this country, then just leave. It's like, no. Leaving is what you do when you don't care about something. You just go. Actually, Prowler, being progressive is the most American thing you can be. There is nothing more American, just based on the supposed, at least, ideals of what this country was built off of, was progressive, is progressive. There is literally nothing more American than being progressive. Like when the founding document was built with the purpose of being able to update it, by the very nature of that ability, the expectation was that we would progress and change and would need to make new laws and amendments to the Constitution. Like, there's literally nothing. Our Constitution, in its actual creation, is progressive by its nature. Now, are there non-progressive ideas in it? Well, sure, but man, y'all just, I love when people say that I'm angry and sad all the time. Y'all are literally coming into lives and just spewing bullshit.
Yeah, it was like the lady who has the media company saying the Democrats are always angry. I mean, what planet have you been living on? You know, tune in Fox News just for 5 minutes.
I don't think you understand that the Constitution, regardless of the amendments that came after, didn't give you the Second Amendment, like, didn't give you the right to bear arms, didn't give you the right to vote, didn't give you the right to free speech, didn't give you the right to assemble, didn't give you the right to freedom of religion, didn't give you any of it. Literally, the moment the Constitution was signed, it progressed with 10 new amendments, which originally was 12, but they didn't agree with the original First and Second Amendment. Those didn't get ratified.
God, I'm having so much fun today. Mike, we have another illuminating comment, this one from Greg. That's a lie. Democrats hate America. Democrats are domestic terrorists. Wow, we've graduated from socialism and communism to domestic terrorism without even stopping for a cup of coffee at Woke and Trans. How about brown suit? How about Benghazi?
Just some guy.
Let's get all the buzzwords out there.
Just some guy. You're right. The Constitution was written by a bunch of white, misogynist, slave-owning men. Actually, technically, I'm not sure all of them were. If I remember, I looked into everyone because there are a bunch of people that were at the creation of the Constitution. There are actually, like, I think 6 or 7 that didn't even sign it. They didn't agree with it, and they left before the signing. But you're right. They were. That doesn't change the fact that the creation of the Constitution was progressive. Fighting for change to the original policies of the British Empire was progressive. Making 10 amendments to the Constitution was progressive. All of the like, again, by its very nature, by the very nature of our founding documents, there was an understanding that progress, that change was inevitable. I have a question about this, and I disagree with both sides on most points. Sure, Dexy, what's up? Debate my equals. What do you mean debate my equals? Do cultures need to be progressive? Need? I'm not sure culture needs to be progressive, but I think humans by their nature are progressive. I think what ends up causing conservatives to want to be conservative is just fear of change. It's comfortability and fear of change more than latching on to things.
Well,
At least in my opinion. I could be wrong.
yeah, I mean, there are, especially traditional conservatives, there are an awful lot of very principled traditional conservatives, Mike, and I don't think it's because of fear of change. I think that they are genuinely held views, but that they've been all drummed out of the Republican Party anyway, so they no longer exist.
And
they're in the wilderness.
And let me put it. Let me. I would argue that those views initiated from fear and over time have turned into genuinely held views that people now just have made a part of themselves because of things like identity politics.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. I don't know if I would agree with it as a general rule, though.
Oh, I mean, there's always going to be. Do you feel non-liberal societies with unique cultures should adjust to liberalism? I don't think it's an. I don't like the statements of adjusting to anything. Every society decides what it wants to be. We have a global society as well as our own personal society. We as a society need to learn how to live with ourselves and with the globe. If the rest of the globe progresses, changes, usually that requires change within the culture that maybe even doesn't want to change. So should, I don't know. That's a hard one to answer just in general. I don't think society, so if each society is deciding what it wants to be, won't that eventually lead to segregation? I think if every person was living in a monolith, sure, but we're not living in a monolith. Every younger generation, by the very nature of how it grew up differently than the older generations, tends to just see things differently and tends to change it, which has happened again. In like, you look at most of the real changes, it's come from a different generation that has come up and said enough is enough.
Carolyn has a good point in chat. She says, we need a society that works for everyone. Well, from your mouth to God's ears, Carolyn, and I agree with your statement as an aspirational goal. But the reality of governance, by its very nature, no matter what type of governance that you have, there are going to be some winners and losers. I think the goal here is to keep the number of losers as small as possible. I don't think we'll ever achieve, either in the United States or any other government under any other system, where everybody benefits by a certain government. That's simply unattainable, but it should be an aspirational goal to get as close to that as we can.
I agree, Yellowstone, that emotions change, facts don't, but what emotions can change is how people see the same facts. The unfortunate reality is I can be in a room with 10 different people who come from 10 different parts of the country and have had 10 different life experiences. We can see or hear the exact same sentence and interpret that completely differently. Like not even just like minuscule, like completely differently. Like our brain literally processes the statement differently. And that's the problem. That's the problem we've got. That's why these conversations need to happen. That's why when I'm sitting here and having conversations about socialism and communism and why using those words in the way that we're using them is dangerous. Why we need to stop using words to describe people that aren't even true. Because we're not sitting here trying to actually, like, are we trying to fix society? Are we trying to make society better for people? Or are we just trying to bash people that don't look at the world like we do? I just want to say this, just so you know, Ferrari, it's nothing against you. I don't bring up people I don't know. If you want to hang around for like longer than just today and become part of the community, I'd be happy to bring you up for other things. I just have a hard and fast rule that I don't bring up people that haven't been part of the community. I think if you continue to support Trump after everything that's come out about him, your views on humanity, your morals about humanity, I question those.
Yeah, I tend to agree, Mike. An argument can be made that in 2016 people just wanted to try something different.
Sure.
But after that, after the dumpster fire of his first term, after his the way he handled COVID, and then attempted to overturn the government of the United States, I mean, I personally cannot see any justification for supporting the man.
Why do you question my morality when what I'm against is people being pedos and grapists and felons and holding those people accountable no matter which party you're on or which party you're with? Or I'm against the attempt to overthrow the government. Like, why is that a question on my morality? What do you mean, where's the proof? It's literally in the files, dude, or in the court. He was found liable for SA, which SA is just the civil term for grape. Then why is he not in jail? Because now he's the frickin' president of the frickin' United States, and we have a two-tiered justice system that protects the elites.
Well, he's not in jail because the cases came too late. He'd won the election, and you cannot put a sitting president in jail. The Supreme Court's already ruled on that. That's part of DOJ policy as well.
Show me proof. Oh my gosh. You don't care about proof. The fact 37 convictions. He was found guilty of grape. If he's guilty.
Again, are you dim-witted? We just explained that to you. And by the way, you want proof? We have proof. Court cases, 34 felony convictions by a jury of his peers, voting unanimously.
Yes, grape.
Legally adjudicated guilty of grape.
Yes.
Legally signed, admitted himself that he defrauded a cancer charity for children. He admitted it.
Shannon.
He is no longer allowed to have a charity in the state of New York. He admitted it.
No. Clinton was guilty of lying under oath. Those were two consenting adults. He was never accused of grape. At least not by Monica Lewinsky. I can't speak for anyone else. Yeah, it's all the same shit all the time, Sherman, because you allow it. Because you're literally unwilling to hold him responsible. And yes, it was grape. Again, we're talking the difference between a civil term and a criminal term. Grape is just the criminal term of SA.
Exactly. There is no such thing as grape in a civil case. That is a criminal term. The civil equivalent, as Mike has said, is SA.
So Yellowstone, those are two different things. So the 34 felony convictions, I don't know what the name of the court of the case is. And then the civil was Trump v. What's her, Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels was the
No.
He
Yeah,
rigged the financial disclosure
E. Jean
forms
Carroll.
for
Sorry,
Storm.
E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah, that was E. Jean Carroll, the grape case.
Hey, Tiffany. Sherman, you can laugh all you want. It doesn't change the fact that what we're saying is true. I don't give a rat's ass whether, again, you're agreeing with it, you're even believing me means nothing.
And by the way, you asked for proof. We gave you 2 instances of proof, and you just don't seem to care about that. We gave you 2 instances. Found guilty of 34 felonies by a jury of his peers, unanimously.
All those were politically motivated. Prove it.
Again, whether they were politically motivated or not, a jury of his peers found him guilty, unless you're saying that the jury system is now politically motivated. Is that what you're saying?
You either care about the law or you don't. You either actually care about the law or you don't. You can be upset about the decision all you want, but he was found guilty of doing it. Would I believe a woman who accused 21 men? Yes, I would. In 2026 especially? Absolutely, I would. Because it is probably true. How come Sharpton didn't go to jail?
A lot of people think he should have for what he did to Stephen Pagonis.
He didn't drain anything. He is the swamp. Oh my gosh. What is wrong? I mean, the amount of court cases that the president, whether while that has been found guilty of, are just absolutely insane. The amount of things that this man has done are absolutely insane. The fact that anyone believes this man farther than you could throw him is wild. He even expanded the swamp. He absolutely did. Like literally, you could Google court cases that Trump has lost, and you could be reading them for the next year. Like I said, the man is not allowed to have a charity anymore because he scammed his own charity.
Well, Sherman, finally something we agree on.
The charge is falsifying business records. Yeah, and those are felony counts. No, actually, Trump hasn't won many court cases. Most of the court cases against him, he hasn't won. He has basically waited it out to the point that there has been an agreement has been reached at the end to end it, or the other person ended up dropping it because they couldn't afford to keep going. Google, who is your president? What does that have to do with anything? Am I supposed to just support my president and everything he does, no matter what? We need to actually physically name them. They don't care about the names. That's the problem, Yellowstone. We've been doing it for years. They don't care. They just yell fake news or something else. That's why people have stopped doing it. Nobody knew what Mar-a-Lago was worth at that point. It was an estimate. I love when people act as though they are also lawyers in this case, when all they're literally doing is parroting what they saw on Fox News. Like,
like Pavlov's dog, Mike, like Pavlov's dog.
That's what I'm saying, Yellowstone. There are hundreds. So one-sided. What's one-sided about calling about anyone that has done anything illegal, that has proof, that has been found guilty? Give me cases give me people that I am supporting that have been found guilty. Know all the networks. The networks aren't in general one-sided. They may say things in ways to get their clicks different, but just because they're saying it the way you disagree with it doesn't mean by the very nature of themselves they are one-sided. There actually are hundreds. There are probably thousands of cases that Trump has been brought to court hundreds of thousands of times in his career, in his life. That man has just the longest history of being in court. I don't even want to think how much money that he has spent on lawyers over his career. What happened to the $500 million penalty?
Yeah, Steve, stop spamming or you're going to get kicked out. He's referring to the New York case, and on appellate review, the sum was lowered.
Yellowstone, I appreciate you being here, but please don't accuse me of spreading misinformation when I can easily find out answers. As of this moment, the count on Trump is over 4,000 suits that have been brought against him or his businesses. And that's as of 2016. That number that I'm looking. He's had thousands of cases. Yeah, over 4,000 lawsuits have been filed against him, but not specifically lost. I never said he lost thousands of cases. Never said he lost thousands of cases. Again, never said thousands of cases. I said a lot of the cases that he quote unquote won have been dropped by the other person because they were like small businesses that got cheated out of their money and they couldn't afford to keep it going, or they ended up coming to some agreement to a lower to end it.
By the way, the appeals court did get rid of the $500 million penalty, but kept the fraud conviction. However, that is currently before a higher court, so it's not gone yet.
And no, I literally didn't say he lost thousands of cases. Literally didn't. And if I did, you know, I'm not perfect. That is not what I meant. I have never meant to say it, nor have I ever tried to imply it. The only statement I have ever meant to say was he has had thousands of cases against him, which he has. And he's lost many big cases. And he's, you know, bankrupt, you know, casinos.
3 casinos. And 3 other businesses. He has a total of 6 bankruptcies.
Tough to fight a cult. I'm not fighting the cult. That's the thing. And I understand it feels like that because I'm responding sometimes. My goal is not to change the cult's mind. If people come in here that are MAGA and they're not going to listen, I don't care. You already need ID to vote. There is no state in this entire country where in some way and at some point of the voting process, you do not need to identify yourself. All states may not do it at the same moment, but every state requires it. How come Trump still won? Because he's a con man. And he told people what they wanted to hear. And he played on people's fear. That's why. Michael?
The demo shits and commies hate America. What an insightful comment, Michael. Thank you.
He's not removing anybody. He's removing more legal people that are here legally than he is anyone that's here illegally, actually. If you look at the list, the full list of the people that have been taken out, most of the people are here in some way or should perform legally. They may not have documents yet, but that's usually because they're in the asylum process. But they are here legally. Asylum is a legal process. let your daughter wear black coats and get married off at 6 years old? You understand that there are Christians in this country, like government official Christians in this country, that are voting to protect child marriage in this country. Don't pretend it's only Muslims in the world that do child marriage.
And in another stunningly insightful comment from Michael, you're, Y-O-U-R, brainwashed commies. Okay, well, that settles it.
September. What does 9/11 have to do with anything? That was 25 years ago, lady. Muslims. So if me as a Christian made a statement about Christians, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, would you get upset and say it's not all Christians? Do you think all Christians think the same way? I'm sure if you're a Christian, I'm sure I don't look at the world the same way as you do. So you think all Muslims look at the world the same way? That's a problem. You're Greek Orthodox, so you are some kind of Christianity. But I'm sure we don't agree on everything. Does that... No, actually, I don't think all MAGA are the same. I will not trust anyone. I question the morals of anyone that would vote and support someone who is spewing the rhetoric of the man who created the MAGA movement. But I personally do not think all MAGA are the same, because I think anyone that protects pedos are bad. I think anyone that protects rapists are bad. I think anyone that protects felons, convicted felons, and lets them and votes for them to be in charge of this country are bad. Well, then you should be just as upset with conservatives, Chrissy, because again, Christian leaders in this country are fighting to protect laws that are still in place in their states that allow for child marriage. How are normal citizens protecting them? By keeping them in power. By allowing them to continue to make the laws. Again, Chrissy, you're doing it again. If all Christians aren't the same, why are you acting as though all Muslims are? What do I know? More than you. More than you.
Unfortunately, Mike, that's not saying much when you're comparing yourself to that guy. That's a low bar. Everybody knows more than him.
Chrissy, by your very nature, you are othering a group of people. What, not taking your side? You're getting upset? No, what I'm upset at is that you are literally, by the nature of your argument, saying you're okay with pedos and rapists. You're just not okay with Muslims. It has nothing to do with the kids. You say you're for the kids, but by your very statements, you aren't. Prove that. Did you vote for Donald Trump? There's my proof. Thank you. Thank you. There is my proof.
Game, set, match.
Can Muslim men marry children? Can Christian men marry children? And the answer is yes, and they do. In this country. No, it's not deflecting. It's if you're going to be against one, you need to be against all. This is what accountability looks like, people. This is why things have not gotten better. This is why we're still dealing with it. Because you're sitting here focusing on Muslims and what some Muslims are allowed to do. Muslims aren't allowed to marry children in states that don't allow child marriage. It doesn't matter what their religion says. Because that's how our country works. We don't make our laws based on a religion, or at least we shouldn't. You can't get Muslims out. If there are Americans who are also Muslim and he tries to get them out, he will be breaking the Constitution. Because we have freedom of and from religion in this country. Am I not getting guests on the mic? What are you talking about? Scott's on here. You're asking if I'm bringing up more people? I don't bring up people I don't know. He violates the Constitution every day. I mean, again, every president has made decisions that in the end have been deemed unconstitutional. Bring Tiff up. I'm about to get off. We deserve better. The problem with everything, the problem with the Constitution, the problem with a lot of these things is it's just like Christianity. It's just like any religion. It still involves interpretation. That's the problem that we deal with. By, you know, for me, I've disagreed with some decisions by the Supreme Court that they've made that have called certain decisions by some presidents unconstitutional because I don't agree with their interpretation of the Constitution. That doesn't make that person a bad person for trying to do it. There's a disagreement there. That happens. Ghost.
Well, Connor, I would tend to agree. There's the old saying, you get the governance you deserve. And, you know, elections do have consequences as we are living through right now.
Ghost, that's a dumb statement because you don't know what communism is. If you knew what communism is, you wouldn't make that statement because you don't know. You just don't. And that's fine. It is what it is, but you don't. You're just using words because you've been taught scare tactics. Different Ghost. Sorry, Ghost player, not Ghostcraft. Two ghosts.
We have a plethora of ghosts today.
Ghosts, Michaels, we get them all. No.
Mike, I know you're getting ready to get off. You forgot to do the plug for your video.
Yeah, so if you haven't gone over and whether it's watched on the tube or even listened on Apple or Spotify, please go and watch or listen to the interviews that I've done. Just on Wednesday, I released a video of an interview I did with a young woman who, her and two other amazing young women have started a all-female production company to fight back against AI, and to fight back against the kind of the really just horrible practices of Hollywood. We talk about changing the status quo here a lot, and part of what breaking the status quo requires is all of us to support people like myself, like these amazing young women, in their endeavors. So if you wouldn't mind going and watching or listening and sharing, it would mean the world to me. Actually, you do know. I've seen it for myself. You actually haven't. You actually haven't. East Germany was not communist. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. And DSA is not the same formula as them. Literally not even a little bit. Like not even a tiny bit. Again, shows you don't know what you're talking about. And to say that DSA is even close to that is also wild. But traitor, 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 your children first, buddy. That doesn't even make sense. What are you talking about?
Is that like a song, or is that a hip hop song or something?
Like, what? Yeah, it's noon here. I'm a Muslim lover. No, I'm a human lover. And we live in a country with freedom of and from religion. I'm against anybody that uses their religion to hurt other people. Doesn't matter which religion it is, Muslim, Christianity, Buddhist, atheist, any of them. I don't care who you are. You hurt people, I'm against you. But all Muslims are not the same, just like all Christians are not the same. I'm ignorant? Okay.
And again, YOUR ignorant? Well, did you get past the 8th grade and learn anything about grammar?
No, they didn't. All right, guys. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Again, please watch the content that's coming out. There's some pretty cool episodes that are coming up with some pretty cool people. You haven't lived long enough to know what was happening there. Actually, I have. I'm going to ask this because I want to know, how old do you think I am, Ghost Player? How old do you think I am? We'll end on that. It's all good, Melanie. How old do you think I am? I'm 47. I was alive and knew what was going on in East Germany before and after the wall came down. Mentally, I'm 12. Oh. And uneducated. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, baby.
Woo. You got me.
Boy, you zapped him good there, Jethro.
Ooh. Hurt.
Well, I'll bet you and Cletus are really cutting it up on the 3rd grade playground.
Oh, well, Chrissy agrees that I'm mentally 12. Okay. All right. Still, you haven't seen it. I was there. I knew people that were there. Again, East Germany being bad does not mean it was actually communism. That's what I say. Understanding what communism is and understanding that East Germany wasn't actually communist. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you weren't in East Germany. I'm not saying you didn't see what it was like. I'm saying you don't understand what communism is. I can say I'm a Christian. Does that mean guarantee that I believe everything that all Christians believe? Actually, it was. They even admitted it. Thank you for making my point. Thank you for making my point. Like, seriously, thank you for making my point.
Look, Erich Honecker, I know a lot about East Germany. Erich Honecker was a Soviet puppet. Okay? It was an autocratic form of government.
Ghost, I'm not defending an idea. I'm saying just because they use the word communism doesn't mean they follow what communism is. 1930s Germany wasn't socialist. They just used it to get the support of the communists and the socialists in that society. They were capitalists and fascists to the core. It doesn't matter what word you put over. Oh my gosh.
And again, for the 100th time, the key word there was not socialist, it was nationalist. And in the 1930s in Europe, nationalism equated with far right. Okay? And actually, Adolf changed the name of the party and the direction of the party in circa 1922 to 23.
In fact, the two people...
So if you're going to use historical references, at least take the time to know what you're talking about.
In fact, the person that created that party that we all know from 1930s Germany, the first person that was arrested and lost his life and was sent to concentration camps was him, was the person who actually created it. Aww.
Really? That's the best you can come up with? Really? That's it?
Well, that's what would hurt his
how
feelings.
Infantile.
He dreams about doing that himself, so he has to come on here and say it. All right, guys, thank you for the likes, shares, gifts, and subs. I appreciate you all so very much. I will see you guys on Monday. You are amazing just the way you are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Bye.